with you. God be with you. God be with you until we meet again. May the good Lord bless you. Oh, may the good Lord bless you. Bless you, you. Until we meet again. The Lord will keep you. The Lord Jesus will keep you. He'll keep you in perfect peace. All you got to do is keep your mind on Him. Hallelujah, Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you. If we never more shall meet you, and if we never more greet you, God be with you. God be with you. God be with you. God be with you until we meet. Until we meet. Until we meet again. God, keep on working. Keep on working. Keep on working for the Master. He'll be there. He'll be there. God, here and after. God, 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 God. Oh, I'll be with you until we meet again. Hey, God be with you. God be with you. God be with you. Until we meet again. Hallelujah.
Good, I'm on. Good afternoon. I'm Nat Wood. This is 30 frames a second. Usually we fussing and fighting about politics, but fussing and fighting is not the only thing we do. One of the most important things we do is positive, loving things in our own community. And it is my pleasure to have the principal movers and shakers from Reach Week. Reverend Harrison is going to be on. We're going to introduce some other people about Reach Week. We opened up with, I got my phone in my hand because I should have turned it off, but I was running around like a fool. We opened up with Dorothy Norwood, the incomparable Dorothy Norwood. She is going to be performing there, and so you're going to have an opportunity to see some great people, both on the stage and among the people doing great things for the community. And I can't think of anything in the world that I would rather be doing than presenting these people to you now. So if Sheila and Veronica has my opening ready. We're going to run that opening, and I'll be right back with 30 frames a second. It's going to be a good show. Into the fact where the victim is now the perpetrator and the perpetrator is now the victim. And that just drives me crazy. All right, good afternoon. I am back. And I'm going to present our panel. I guess that they can go take the wide shot or whatever. They're directing back there, not me. But I think I'm going to start with Bishop Ronald Hawkins.
Yes.
That's correct. He's from Pilgrim Cathedral of Harlem. That's 15 West 126th Street. 126th Street between
5th and Lenox.
Between LA and 5th. Lenox and 5th. Okay. Yeah, I know that neighborhood quite well.
Okay.
We have Pastor Helen D. Morris Jackson. All right, I got it all. Now I'm going to mess it up. From Broken Vessel Holistic Ministries.
Yes.
Well, you can tell us. That's in St. Albans.
Right, that's in Queens.
That's in St. Albans, Queens.
Yes.
Correct. And we got the incomparable Pastor Terrance L. Kennedy. You know him with his singing self. He's from New Hope for the World Ministries, and that's on 126th Street. 63 West 120.
63 West.
All right, and that is also between, or not also, but that is between
Lenox and 5th.
Lenox and 5th, so the also is good.
Yep.
And you know this gentleman here. That's senior pastor. Senior, not to be confused with junior pastor. Senior pastor, Henry V. Harrison.
Yes.
And he's from Baptist House of Prayer, the legendary Baptist House of Prayer, also on 126th Street between Lenox and 7th Avenue. So there's some Jesus going on 126th Street between Lenox and 5th. So if you want to get your Jesus on, that's the block to be in. Reach Week. I'm gonna come to senior pastor. No, I'm gonna go to Terrance Kennedy, since Pastor Kennedy, since your name is on the top of this thing here. This is. Can you see this? You guys, good. I see it on the TV. This is the poster for Reach Week, and I'm going to put it down. You're going to see my face again, and then I'm going to read some stuff, and then I'm going to go to Pastor Terrance Kennedy. As you see, his name is up there. It's even got the L in it. And it says, Pastor Terrance L. Kennedy and the Reach Week International Mass Choir live in New York City for an album release.
Album release, yes.
Tell us about what's going on. It's hosted by Liz Black, and they have a special guest. That's Tramaine Hawkins, for y'all who don't know nothing about black music. Talk about this, brother.
We're excited. Last year, we were here, we talked about doing I was blessed to do a live recording. And we did it at Symphony Space here in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And it was great because we had about 100 voice choir approximately, and it was international. There were black Americans, there were black Caribbean, there were Latinos, there were Japanese, there were Germans, Africans, and we all came together with a full band. And I was blessed. Vicki Winans came in from Detroit and recorded one of my songs, along with Melanie Daniels Walker, Don Corey Washington, Anita Jackson, Emmanuel Roderick, all these great singers. I was really blessed. I wrote the material for the album. Well, this year,
wow,
it's being released.
Nice.
And it's being released, and I'm very excited. It's been a year process of post-production and things. And but it was a great project, and I'm hoping it's going to bless a lot of people. And Liz Black from WBLS and WLIB is going to be our host that evening, and it's I'm really excited. You know, Reach Week. It really is a week conference, because I say that because people forget that it's a whole week event, because whatever their part of Reach Week is, that's what they focus on.
Right.
But people travel from around the world to be a part of Reach Week, and part of the mission of Reach Week is to be not only to be an educational experience as well. Having said that, I'm really excited that Lady Tramaine Hawkins is with us. I mean, she's gospel royalty, right? She's gospel royalty. And I've been abroad to many different countries spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ through preaching and through singing. And I know the Hawkins, you know, I often teach other Hawkins material, because when you go abroad, everyone's singing Oh Happy Day. And thank God for Oh Happy Day, but I always to let them know that the Hawkins has an entire catalog of music that they need to know about. And most of which, or a lot of which I should say, was made famous by the voice of Tramaine Hawkins.
Tramaine, I was getting ready to say that. Tramaine is blessed to be from a very, very musical, dynamic family. But Tramaine would have been bad as an only child. Tramaine was just like, you know, just incredible. If you've never heard anyone sing, you got to hear Tramaine sing. You know,
she has hits after hits.
Correct.
And she's coming. She's our special guest, and so I'm really excited that just because I grew up listening to the music of the Hawkins, but I'm also excited that the people who are traveling from abroad will have the opportunity to experience Tramaine live and really get to know who she is and what she represents, and she's coming along to help us sing about Jesus, and so that's really exciting. And I'm also excited, you know, that I get to share this with my brothers on the block.
Right.
It's going to be held at the Pilgrim Cathedral of Harlem.
Right.
Bishop Hopkins is the host pastor.
Right. And don't just let him know that he's going to tell us all about Pilgrim Cathedral. But I just want to piggyback on one thing you said, that it is an entire week, and not only do we have some dynamic music, I think Donnie McClurkin will be.
Donnie McClurkin is preaching Monday night of Reach Week. So let me do it in order so that people are not confused.
Well, we're going to let other people get around. We're not, you know,
but Donnie McClurkin is preaching Monday night.
So just because you a star, man, take my show.
And Monday night being the 21st.
Right.
September the 21st. Also, it's going to be held at Pilgrim. And that Saturday, September the 26th, we're outside in front of the state office building, and Dorothy Norwood is with us.
Right. That's why we opened with Dorothy Norwood, because she's the 26th.
Right.
See, we have people, y'all didn't see that. I don't know if y'all saw that. They still have you on camera, but right now we have beautiful sisters making sure that you people are all right. They really don't care about me. But we're going to go to you. We're going to let the camera go to you while these gentlemen over here are being groomed. Bishop Ronald Hopkins.
Yes.
Tell us about Pilgrim Cathedral, when it's happening, where it's happening, what it's happening in regards to Reach Week.
Well, we thank God for the opportunity to be a part of Reach Week. I was talking to my administrator not too long ago about, you know, doing some things in the community, and we really had nothing planned. And I said, you know what? I want to reach out to Pastor Kennedy, because I know he has something coming up later on this year.
Right.
And since we have nothing really going on, you know, later on that year, why can't we just reach out and assist and help, you know, in their endeavor? So we made a few calls and kind of missed each other in the calls, but we finally contacted each other, and he said, you know, this is just an answer to prayer, because we were looking for help, we were looking for assistance in putting this on. I didn't even know what was happening. I knew he had something planned later on that month, not knowing that Donnie McClurkin was going to be a part, Tramaine Hawkins. I had no idea. I just felt led, you know, of course, by the Spirit, to reach out and to say, we are here, whatever you need. We're just here to help, to assist. Don't, you know, not looking for anything, just here to help you out. So he called back and said, you know, we need to get together, we need to meet. Then he told me what was happening. I said, oh my God, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. I'm just grateful to be a part and to help and to assist. in what God has laid upon his heart to do as far as Reach Week is concerned.
Now I'm gonna swing all the way over here to senior pastor Henry V as in Victory Harrison, and help us understand what Reach Week is, what it's about, how long you've been going on, because a lot of times people think if they look at television, everything ain't nothing going on but a lot of young teenagers just shooting each other all the time, and there's nothing actual positive going on in Harlem. And Harlem is now and has always been one of the most dynamic, loving, and inspirational communities the world has ever known. So tell us, what is Reach Week? How long have you been operating, and how you have assembled the cast that you have assembled over the years?
Well, thank you, Nat, for allowing us to be here today on 30 Frames and to share. Reach Week, I tease Pastor Kennedy often. We have traveled quite a bit around the world, preaching the gospel, sharing, singing. And on one of his trips going to Japan, he's saying, why can't they come to us? Because we're always going to them. And God gave him this vision of having a week called Reach Week. And I share with him many times, you sure you just said Reach Week or Reach Month? You
Reach
know,
life.
Now it's almost like Reach Year, because all the stuff that's going on toward Reach Week. It's a wonderful way of reaching out to people, sharing with them the gospel of Jesus Christ, so that folk come from all over the world to share in this experience. And it's now in its, this is going to be our 8th year of having Reach Week consistently every year. We thought it was going to be 1 year, but it kept growing, and we were looking at small venues, but we were able to go to the state office building, to the plaza there, be welcomed there, to have on that Saturday when Dorothy Norwood will be with us. We're going to have a health fair. Every year it's a health fair. Many of the agencies in our city and in the Harlem community help and support us. They're out there sharing, they're testing for HIV and AIDS, for high blood pressure, diabetes, so many of the problems that we have in our communities. And we're out there sharing. They'll give out information, testing.
This is your 8th year.
8th year.
You've been in the community,
Yes.
ministering both physically and spiritually to your community.
Yes. Inside and outside.
And this is like black people doing this stuff even before Obama became the president. That's amazing. I didn't know black people were that.
Yes. Yeah, we're
This is
aware.
breaking news, y'all.
And so it's been a very good journey and good 7 years, and many people have been affected by it, have come to our churches. Last year we have and again this year we'll have a Bible campaign. So we gave out 2,500 Bibles last year on that Saturday, and people were just receiving them and collecting them, asking for them. We ran out of the Bibles we had on that Saturday on the afternoon. So it's an outside witness to let people know, hey, we are here, we care, we're concerned about the health issues as well as the spiritual issues in our community. And Reach Week is one of the ways that we reach out to people and share. And as I said, they come from around the world. So as Pastor Ken was saying, it's a week-long experience, so that on that Monday night this year, we're going to have a preaching service with Pastor Donnie McClurkin. But then during that Tuesday, we have workshops where the folk who are here internationally, they come, they're spending the whole day. Many of our constituents and members who work in the day can't be there, but there are classes that are going on in African American gospel music history. We share praise dance ministries. Sometimes there's gospel organ lessons given. You know, these things that they are wanting to know more about, and it helps them to understand African American gospel music, which is going on around the world, and people are touched by our music, and they're singing our songs. This year, we just recently returned from Japan.
Beautiful.
And we were there about 12 days. Pastor Kennedy, his music was shared in concerts over there because this is the 70th year of the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And so we went over there as part of a movement. About 11 of us traveled together in a peace movement. And we said, we did peace concerts. So that, this kind of thing will never happen again in the world. Again, it's part of bringing the body of people together with goodwill, and also they're learning and understanding Christianity in a lot of these countries and embracing Christ, and we're a part of that medium. So that Wednesday we go out to there's another church that's very popular in our city, down in Chinatown, basically on the border of Chinatown, called Mariners Temple.
Yes, I
Baptist
heard
Church.
Right,
it's the oldest Baptist church in New York City.
Right.
And right now the congregation is mostly African American, and so we go there to share in their noonday service. Our Reach Choir will go and sing, or some of the Japanese will come and sing. Again, an international coming together. That Wednesday. Thursday, we have rehearsals and different things going on. Friday, we have a communion, fellowship, prayer time. And so something is going on every week. And then, of course, the Saturday and Sunday, the concerts. So it's a wonderful a week of renewal and expressions and giving God the praise and bringing people together. We've seen lives changed. Live change. One young lady came one year who we just recently saw in Japan. She's from Japan. Was a dancer, a professional dancer, and was in a car accident and crippled. And she came to Reach Week broken, just burdened with I'll never be able to dance again. I have no hope. I have nothing left. And at Reach Week, she made a commitment to Jesus Christ. We didn't expect it, but she prayed and asked Jesus Christ to come into her life, change her life. Since then, she was wheelchair bound and never thought she would dance again or walk again. They told her she wouldn't walk again. But this young lady sings very well. She sings. She's got her own little ministry in Japan and around the world, different places she's traveling. And now we saw her this year, and last time she came to Reach Week, she got out of the chair and she walked up the steps. She still needs the aid, but she was last year with the praise dance ministry. She was in the wheelchair, but she was dancing, praise dancing from the wheelchair. And she is so excited about now Jesus Christ being in her life, because it's given her a new lease on life. Even with the tragedy that happened, it has turned around, and she's touching and inspiring other people that they can do. And just because there was an accident in your life or a tragedy, you don't stop there. You can go on, and God says, I'm going to help you. So Reach Week is very, very exciting for us, and I'm grateful to have been with it for the 7 years with Pastor Kennedy, and now we just see great things happening. Dorothy Norwood, Pastor McClurkin, Lady Hawkins, they're all coming, and they're getting involved. And Vicki Winan said last year when she came, she said, "Well, I don't know you guys." She said, "But I like what I hear. I like what you're doing, what's happening with you." And we're glad about that, because, as you said, this has been going on for 7 years, and a lot of good things go on in our communities that people just don't know anything about. And that's why I thank you for allowing us this platform to let people know what is happening in Harlem, and that there are good things happening all the time from very good people who are doing good things.
Pastor Jackson, I'm going to get to you in 1 second. I just want to ask, and I guess I can ask Terrance, the healthcare component. You can be tested for HIV.
Yes.
And unlike the old days where they used to just have to suck the blood out of you like a vampire. It's just like a little tiny prick now, I believe.
Well,
Is that
it depends on, there are different tests. There's the swab.
What do they do? A swab?
There's a swab. It's an oral swab.
Wow, I wasn't hip to that one.
Yeah, that's no blood at all. It's an oral swab, or you can get the blood test as well.
Wow,
the oral
that's
swab,
amazing.
yeah,
That's amazing. We live in
it's-
an amazing time. There are breakthroughs
Yeah.
in all sorts of things.
Technology, yeah.
Right.
It's pain-free, it's fast, it's extremely accurate. The way I explain it is the oral swab sort of works a lot like a pregnancy test. You know, a woman takes a pregnancy test, it's not looking for the baby. It's
Right.
looking for the hormones she produces
Right.
because she's pregnant.
Right.
Well, the
Right.
oral swab looks for the antibodies that one produces after they become HIV positive.
Okay.
So it's
Excellent.
extremely, so after you get the oral swab, you get a confirmatory test with a blood test. And then, but New Hope for the World, we've been doing those testing initiatives. Like Reach Week
How
is,
many days is the healthcare component?
well, it's that Saturday of Reach Week, that's the biggest one, but we do healthcare ministry all year long. You know, Reach Week is like our signature event, but we test all year long, and not only can New Hope for the World test.
you can get tested for HIV, and HIV is very problematic in our community.
Extremely.
But high blood pressure is really prevalent in our community. I mean, it
Right,
touches
but you know what the
grandma,
difference is? You know what the difference is? There's no stigma attached to high blood pressure. There's no shame attached to high blood pressure. There's hardly no embarrassment.
So it's more difficult to get people to
yeah, because
get-
with HIV, you're dealing with stigma, you're dealing with people. You know, to do HIV ministry, a lot of times it's very difficult for the faith community because you have to deal with drugs, sex, and rock and roll.
Right.
And that becomes a barrier for many people. And so with HIV, what makes it, I'm not diminishing,
I understand exactly
high
what
blood
you're
pressure.
saying.
All those
Right.
things are critical. But with HIV, there are other saddles and burdens that come along with being HIV positive that a person with high blood pressure doesn't experience.
And
so
I
there's
didn't
no
even
stigma
factor
attached.
that in. That to me, it just seemed like an opportunity to be tested for something,
the
and I
stigma
didn't even
attached.
think about
I mean,
the
even
stigma.
even so with stigma, it's a big deal because you know there are wonderful agencies that do testing, but some people may identify an agency as a particular type of agency, and you know you have, for instance, the Gay Men's Health Crisis, a
Right.
wonderful agency,
Right.
but then you have heterosexual men that don't want to go get tested because they see the word gay. That's stigma. You know, they're not about your sexuality. They're there to provide a service.
Right.
But even in our communities, you know, whether the faith community or the black people as a culture or the Latino, there's a lot of machismo attached to that. There's a
Right,
lot of,
right.
and so people are afraid to share their status or to talk about it or to let people know they are infected. And what New Hope for the World Ministry does, we're kind of unique in that we're the only church in New York that I know of that is state certified. I want to be clear when I say that because there are many churches doing wonderful work around HIV. But typically what they have to do is they have to invite an agency in to do the testing for them. We do our own testing. And we have linkages agreement. What does that mean? That means that if I test you and unfortunately your test comes back positive, I have the ability to get you into treatment, to get you hooked up to a doctor, because we know that early treatment, immediate treatment is really the best care. And so, and I believe, you know, that's what the Lord requires us, that you may not be ready, you know, for me to put a Bible in your hand, but if I could save your life, I can save your soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard, yeah.
Right, and so I could, and Jesus talks about that. When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. So we have to be concerned about the whole person. And I think that's what our ministry is. And so I'm glad you sort of brought that up because people know about Reach Week. But what I want to say is we work all year long. It's
Well,
not
people,
just about Reach Week.
Discounting Reach Week, the all year long part of it. Where would people go to get these kind of services?
New Hope.
New Hope.
New Hope for the World Ministries.
Okay.
Again, 63 West 126th Street, or you can call us
And what days-
646-820-0117. Again, that's 646-820-0117. And I think that's the best way. We're also on Facebook. Facebook is a great way to keep in touch with what's going on and what keeps going on, because of we fund our own things and our own initiatives most of the time. We get very minimum funding, so we don't have a consistent office hour like a real community center would. But if people ever need services, if they need to be tested, or if they just need counseling as they're going through the testing period, or think they maybe, we can navigational services. What does that mean? We'll go with you. You know, because some, you know, we've done that for several people a lot of times, and I want to say this services. What I want to underline is not, because I'm hoping there are people from the faith community listening to me, and sometimes when faith community people hear that, they think those services are for the people. People in church need to be tested.
That's right.
Amen.
Pastors need to be tested. Bishops need to be tested. Everybody needs to know their status, because it's running rampant through our community. And I tell pastors all the time, if you are dedicating babies, you have a sexually active church.
And according to media, according to respected media, things like the Washington Post, heroin addiction is and I didn't know this, but it's increasing exponentially.
Yes.
I mean, which would also mean that instances of things like hepatitis and HIV and those type of diseases would also be increasing
Because
exponentially.
poverty impacts all of that as well. You know, poverty is the major driver for all of those things. Because even if I'm heroin addicted, if I can't support my habit, then it forces me to have to share. You know, so and once poverty comes into play and people can't afford to keep up their habit, and they're sharing
and no
needles.
one can afford a habit.
Right.
I don't care how much money you have. You know, there will be times when you will be forced to share. You know, and I've also I wasn't aware, but in doing some research, I found that there are things that we never affiliated with. I'm getting directions from Veronica, yeah. And Shirley, you know those numbers, so you can put those numbers up there. So, but there are things associated with disease that I never thought would be, you know, manufacture of those types of diseases. Like, I didn't know that there is a blood transference in, say, sniffing cocaine. You know, it's obviously not as common as, you know, directly sharing needles. But there are things that people do that they don't think, they don't think could cause you to get certain diseases. You know, they might not think that they're high risk. They might be doing other things among high risk people and not think they're at risk. So it is incumbent upon all of us to be tested, whether or not we think we're in.
And I think even if you don't feel you're at risk, particularly I say this to preachers and pastors, even if you don't feel you're at risk, which I don't know what that means, but that's what people say, right? Because right now, whether you're married, straight, gay, whatever, however you identify yourself, right now you only know what you do. You really can't attest to what your partner is doing when you're out of their presence. But anyway, even if you think you're not at risk, I think the only way you effectively minister to someone to tell them that they need to be tested is that you have to go through that experience. It really is hard to tell someone you need to do that and you don't know what the test is, because you get tested and your DVD, the brain of your DVD goes on slow play and rewinds. And there's a lot of anxiety attached to that. So I think you know. So
and you owe it to everybody around you to make sure that you get into a mindset of taking care of yourself.
And I think that destigmatizes it. You know, we're all afraid of testing. That adds to the stigma. You're not afraid to find out how much you weigh. You're not afraid to find out your blood pressure. You're not afraid to find out what your sugar level is, right? No, I'm afraid to find out. You have no reason to be afraid.
Okay, whatever. We come now to that moment that we refer to as the pièce de résistance. Pastor Helen D. Morris Jackson,
Yes,
we
sir.
have kept you at bay long enough, and now we have saved the best for last.
Okay.
What brought you to this illustrious bunch of this bunch of thugs? No. These are beautiful, beautiful people. I just throw that in for the news media.
I'm a social worker in my profession, and I had met Pastor Kennedy many years ago, and he told me about New Hope for the World and that they were going to be doing an outreach program at the state office building, and if I would come, and that day I tabled, but I tabled about domestic violence. And through being
Domestic
there,
violence,
yes,
okay,
domestic violence,
excellent.
which is a part of what happens when you're HIV positive.
Yeah.
A lot of things go on, and when we're not honest about what we do, then what ends up happening is then people have to lie, and when we find out that you've lied, then things change. And so there's a lot of domestic violence within our community as well as HIV. However, the person that's most affected are the women and children, and so our job is to inform women on how to be safe and how to prepare themselves if they're in a situation and they want to get out, because you have to want to get out. And a lot of times we have not been taught. Abuse is cultural, and I say it's cultural because a part of the slavery mentality was to beat the slaves, and so our parents picked up beating their kids. And so it just keeps perpetuating itself. And so when you beat me and then you turn around and say, I love you, then it kind of make you want to stay. Well, he really does love me. And a part of being in...
And even associating beating with
Right.
abuse with love.
Right. And so when he tells me he loves me, then there's no way I'm going to leave him if he's telling me that he loves me. And a part of that is the isolation from your family. So what they normally do, I tell them, I said that domestic violence sometimes starts out very subtle. I buy you a cell phone. I call you, hey honey, how you doing? He said, I'm good. What you doing? I said, well, I'm getting ready to go to lunch. Well, when you come back, call me. I go to lunch, I'm gone in half an hour, I come back. I call him, he calls me again. Well, what time are you getting off? I'm getting off at 4. Okay, when you get off, call me. What time are you going to be home? Well, I'm going to be home at 6. 6 o'clock, he calls me. But if I don't make 6, if I don't make 4, if I don't make any of those times, it's like, so where were you? Oh, well, the train was delayed. Oh, but you said you were going to be so-and-so. Okay. And all of a sudden, I can't talk to my family because he said, well, you know your family don't like me. You know, they don't want you around me. And you begin to look at that. Well, yeah, every time I go over there, my mother's saying he ain't no good or he's this and that. And so the dynamics play out.
Excuse me for just... caller, we'll be with you in a minute. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I have a caller waiting on. They want to ask you a question, but I want to give you a chance to finish your thought, and I want to let the caller know to just be a little patient.
And so once you're isolated and separated from your family, then where do you go? Since I've worked in a domestic violence shelter, and people are there, and they don't have anything else because all they had was him. And so where do you go when you're no longer speaking to your parents, you're no longer speaking to your friends because he's isolated and separated you? And so New Hope opened an opportunity for not only to learn more about HIV, but also to be able to share that. I'm one of the state certified testers for the ministry.
And as Pastor Kennedy alluded to a little while ago, and even you said there are components within the dynamics of black culture, components of poverty and abuse, and there's a cultural component. So it's different trying to escape a domestic abuse situation when the abuse in and of itself is an anomaly. In other words, if it's just the abuse in one household, it's easier to escape, whereas if it's a systemic culture of abuse that stems from a culture that has experienced generational abuse and poverty, it's a lot harder to get away from that because the same set of circumstances is waiting right around the corner. So it's very difficult. You have to address the immediate problem,
Right.
but then there is a whole problem that we need to address within the community,
Right.
you know, in the way we see ourselves and each other. We have a caller. If the caller is still has been patient and is still there, we're going to allow the caller to make a comment and ask a question or whatever they'd like to do. Hello, caller, are you there? Do you have pot number 5 up? Okay, we're having a little technical difficulty. We, as always, we fly by the seat of our pants. You've been doing this in St. Albans,
Right.
and now you're bringing it to Reach Week.
Well, I have actually been a part of New Hope for the World Ministries. I just sat here and counted. This will be my 7th year.
Wow.
We're going into 8,
Wow.
so this will be my 7th year
Hello?
because short.
Oh, hi, how you doing, caller?
Hey, how are you?
Excellent.
Good, good. I wanted to, let me turn the TV down. I want to say hello to your guest. What's up, Nat? How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm excellent, brother. Good looking out. Thank you.
Good, good. I'll try to be real quick. A lot of interesting things from these powerful people up here. I just got a few questions as far as the, the health thing. I think that's amazing what you guys are doing with the Reach Week. You're reaching out to folks, but I agree with you, Nat. I think high blood pressure is, it may not have the stigma,
Right.
but it is very, very important. And also obesity,
Right.
obesity and
Right.
insanity
Right.
in our community. And also, what does the church have to offer in 2015? What kind of power does it have to stop what's going on in the community? Because, before we, the Jesus of yesteryear was, the Jesus that you guys talk about, he wouldn't probably even sit down with Obama. But, you got these preachers, got Creflo Dollar buying $47 million jets, T.D. Jakes. I mean, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I want to know, what kind of power does the Christian church have to save the youth and to save the elderly and to save the disabled? I mean, really, what other than your King James Version Bible, who, by the way, was a slave master as well. And I'm not trying to be disparaging, but I got to be real and be honest. This is truth. So I'll hang up and
All right, we're going to address that. Thanks. I think we have another call, but we're going to answer the question. Caller, if you're there, if you have remained patient, we'll get to you. But we're going to address that. I think that basically what the caller was saying was that as in everything else, we have become a very self-absorbed society, especially here in the United States, in the land of plenty. And the church is not the same dynamic that historically we have thought of as the black church being. The black church has always been, since AME had Denmark Vesey in there, it's always been a part of the community of people. And now we see a lot of self-serving, self-absorbed, we're all for the dollar bill. And whether or not it is accurate, there is a perception that the church in and of itself, and I'm more concerned with the black church because that is my immediate community. But the church in and of itself is not as responsive to the community. And I believe the caller was asking about, not you guys. You guys are rocking and rolling. You've always been rocking and rolling. But where do you see the church going? What do you see the church's responsibility, if it has a responsibility? Does it have a responsibility to the community and the people and the needs of the people going forward?
Several things I want to say about that. I think one, I heard mention Bishop Creflo Dollar.
yeah.
And
I think it was about the money thing more than.
but I think,
yeah.
I hear that sometimes from people who don't attend church, and I think Creflo Dollar, the T.D. Jakes are really a minority when it comes to preachers. Most preachers that I know don't have those lifestyles.
Right.
We just don't have those lifestyles.
Right.
Those people are the most public. They're the media gets the most attention to.
Yes,
but they are like in our one block.
Right.
There are 4 different churches just in that one block.
Right.
And so, and even in Harlem, there are over 400 churches. So when you categorize me by what you know about Abyssinian Church, the big black historic church, or by Salem Church, these big mega churches.
And Abyssinian Church is a tiny little church if you compare it to that giant castle that is Riverside.
Riverside, right.
Is
it's a huge.
Right, it's like, wow, does the king live
But I
there?
think the churches, the church, there are a lot of good ministries, and there are a lot of good pastors who are generally concerned about people, and I think this is what Jesus would have done. Jesus went to the leper colony.
Yes.
Jesus went to people who were lost and to people who were humiliated by their sins. The woman who was going to be stoned because she was caught in the act of adultery. Jesus hung around with women of the night and ministered to them. He talked to the woman at the well who gave him a whole list of reasons why she was caught up into the sexism of the day, into the racism of the day, but Jesus spent time, and I think that's what we're doing. So it's not just a matter of preaching the gospel, but it's demonstrating, and I think it's showing people that the church is here. The church has always been a sanctuary. That's what we call ourselves. It
sanctuary.
Quasimodo.
It has always been Notre Dame. Sanctuary.
It has always been a sanctuary, and so the power. The caller had asked about the power that the churches. I dare not speak for the black church. I'm one black pastor.
Hold up. I'm going to force you to speak not for the black churches, but the responsibility of the church. We're going to answer the question. I'm going to go around, and this is going to be a closed-ended question, a yes or no, and then I'll get some of you to elaborate. Yes or no, irrespective of the finances of any individual church, whether it's like the Jackson 5 or, or the 5 stair steps in terms of money earning capability, does the church have a responsibility to minister to the people of their communities and the world specifically? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 Excellent, excellent. So we got that out the way. How do you do you see this as because perception is reality. They say what you think is reality, and just as you gave the actual reality of there being so many black churches who don't have this kind of finance. People now, when they think of church, they think of basically 3 things. Pastors having a whole lot of money, abusing little boys, and hate gay marriage. That's all they know about the churches. That's all they know about the church. And here you are. You ain't got all the money in the world.
Right.
You're doing HIV testing. And to the best of my knowledge, ain't nobody got no little boy, stuck up under their bedroom covers. You're ministering.
Little girl, for that matter.
Well, I don't know if they.
Well, I don't think one is worse than the other, right?
Well, no, trust me, I'm not telling anybody to go out and abuse children, whether or not they male or female. I'm not trying to do that. But how do you see the church going forward in the face of all that's going on? That according to the perception of the TV, the church is just it's used as a mechanism to gain political power. It's used as a mechanism to gain celebrity status and wealth, according to the perceptions, according to what you see on the media. You know, you're not going to see poor black churches when they invite them to do the morning talk show circuit. You know, generally it's big time pastors making millions and millions of dollars. You know.
But can I also say
What's
about
the role of the church? Do you see the church doing great things?
But
you know,
I wanted to say something also that and I'm not here to defend Dollar, Bishop Jakes, or any of them. I think their ministries can speak for themselves. But what I do want to say is, as much as a lot of negative talk goes on about, you know, their appeal for money or whatever the saying goes, I encourage people to research the amount of work they do in terms of building hospitals, in terms of funding poor countries in Africa, before you make a sound adjustment about Creflo Dollar's airplane.
See, I mean,
and I'm not here to. I'm not here to defend. But I'm just saying that
caller specifically called out names, and I'm not saying that I'm advocating that every church be Pope. As a matter of fact, anybody who knows me, I'm one of them Black Power Negroes, you know. And I believe we've been working for no money long enough. I don't want any of us to be poor. That is not Nat Wood's game plan at all. We got another call. We're going to take this call. I'm just saying that whether or not you're a poor church or a rich church, whether you're a superstar or nobody knows you but the people in your block, do you see the church going forward as being a prominent factor? And hold on to that. Let's get this call in.
Yeah.
Hey, caller, how you doing?
Yeah, all right, my brother. How y'all doing today?
Hey, brother, how you
I just want to
doing?
pass a few words to y'all.
Uh-huh.
And that is, I think when Jesus was at the well, as I was taught, is the conception. Meaning that the woman, he said that 60, he said you have 5 husbands, but the one you have now is not yours. Meaning of that is that you have 5 community. And this 6 artificial mentality that you're taking on is not yours. So whether it was Rachel or Rebecca, he was talking to the woman, which the woman, like Mary community, Rachel community, and so on, they all say represent communities, and this is the way we should approach that matter. So he was telling us that Harlem, you have 5 senses, those 5 husbands that take care of you. That 6th one that you have taken on is not yours. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, brother.
God bless us all with the light of understanding.
All right. I don't know if we have another call or not. You're going to have to signal me. If we do have another call, put it through. If not, because we're running out of time, we only got like a couple of minutes left, and I want to get them to wrap this up. Let us know about Reach Week. Let's give it. You got 2 minutes. I don't care. Y'all can pick somebody to talk about it. You know, I'm gonna go to you because these men ain't let you talk. Yeah. You know, mess up my reputation.
So you want me to talk about Reach Week?
Yes, I do.
We're inviting you to come. It is one of the most informative for the community. It does seniors, it does youth, it does teenagers, it does the whole community. It offers anything that you could possibly want. One of the things about Harlem has just opened everything. When you get out to the plaza on the 26th, anything that you're looking there from food to health will be there.
Excellent.
They have the, one thing that I want to mention, they have the medical piece for the children.
Excellent.
And that's an excellent piece. They get to wear the doctor's robe, they get to do the stethoscopes and everything. It is a great component for parents to bring their children out to learn about their bodies and what goes on with them. So we invite you.
Also, I want to mention to people that if they register through Eventbrite, that they may be eligible to win some prizes at Reach Week. So
Excellent.
go to
Excellent.
Eventbrite.com and register.
So wait a minute. So you telling me that you can get tested for high blood pressure, all you salt eaters out there, which I'm one, which I am one, HIV, that you can see Tramaine Hawkins,
Dorothy Norwood.
Dorothy Norwood.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
You stole Tramaine to yourself. You done sequestered Tramaine.
Tremaine's going to be at Pilgrim, but on the plaza, Dorothy Norwood's going to be
But
with
you can
us.
see Dorothy Norwood be ministered by Donnie McClurkin And win some prizes.
and win some prizes.
Oh, man.
You can bring your children, you
Oh,
can
man.
bring your grandma. There's something for everybody at Reach Week.
And this starts,
September the 26th,
which is
a Saturday, in front of the Adam Clayton Powell Jr. State Office Building, 125th, between Lenox and 7th Avenue.
and ends.
12 to 4.
Okay.
From 12 right in the middle of
So
the day.
y'all know where the state office building is. If you don't, look it up, Google it. I know you got Google or Bing or whatever you got on that machine of yours.
That's right.
We're going to have Reach Week. We're going to have beautiful singing. We're going to have ministering.
The
We're going to
CD
have
release.
health. CD release. Yeah, you got
And
30 seconds to tell us.
Also,
to
the
wrap this
CDs
up.
come out, and what I'm really glad, I'm referring to the caller talking about the churches uniting, because here are 3 pastors from the same block working together for one effort.
Right.
Come to Pilgrim, and we want to invite you into the church to see what the church is doing, not just that day,
Right.
but even that day is over. The CD's coming out. It's going to be hot. It's going to bless your life. Melanie Daniels Walker, Don Corey Washington, Vicki Winans is on the CD. Terrance Kennedy is on the CD, and we, a great band, and people from Japan, Germany, a whole international. But go to Eventbrite for tickets. Call us to 646-820-0117. If you get a ticket to the CD, to the release concert, you will automatically get a free CD at the concert. And so that's going to be at Pilgrim Church on 15 West 126th Street, September
and
the
some of
27th.
these church people are big time stars who are coming out to minister to their community. So when you talk about
people like Melanie Daniels Walker, she has
these are
national
international
name.
stars
Right.
who are giving their time and their generosity to minister to our community. So it's win, 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 win. I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank all of you for allowing me the opportunity to present you to our community. And we'll see you next week. Peace. We're out.
All right.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much.